So you did it. You built something. Your code works, your idea is real, but then you walk into the pitch room and you realize that's just not enough. The real trick is getting investors to believe in what your product can become. So today, we're going to break down how you stop pitching a product and start pitching a truly massive vision.
Think about it. You're in those meetings, you're walking them through the tech, the features, your MVP, but you can feel it, right? Something just isn't connecting. You're getting polite nods, but you're not seeing that spark in their eyes, that look of real belief. This is probably one of the biggest frustrations for early stage founders, and almost always it boils down to one simple thing. And this slide right here, this is the disconnect. On the left is what you're probably pitching, the what, the product features, the MVP you have right now. But on the right, that's what investors are actually funding. They're buying the where to. They're funding the story, the huge potential of what it all can become. They aren't just betting on your code. They're betting on the future that you're going to build. And here's the bottom line. The biggest mistake founders make is getting totally lost in the weeds of their product. You're obsessed with today, which makes sense. But investors, they're trying to figure out where this is all going 5, 10 years from now. They need to know if you're just building a neat little tool or if you actually have the foresight to build an entire company. So let's talk about the word vision. And I want to be super clear here. This is not some vague, fluffy, pie-in-the-sky dream. A really powerful vision is actually concrete. It's a strategic direction. Think of your vision as your company's North Star. It's the answer to the big question, what fundamentally changes in the world if you succeed? It proves to investors that you're not just reacting to how the market is today, you're skating to where the puck is going to be. I love this quote because it just nails the difference in scale. A product, yes, it solves a problem. That's fantastic. You absolutely need that. But a vision transforms an entire industry or workflow or a human behavior. And that is the level of thinking that gets investors really, really excited. You know what's really powerful is that a great vision answers all the questions an investor is thinking, but might not even say out loud. It signals that you've done the really hard thinking. It shows you see the market trends and that you're not just building a cool tool, but a real company. It proves you're building with intention, not just guessing, and that massively de-risks their bet on you. Okay, so that's the what. Now for the how. How do you take this huge, ambitious idea and make it feel tangible, make it feel believable? Well, it's all about grounding that ambition in the reality of what's happening today. It really just comes down to 3 key steps. First, you have to anchor your vision in a real, present pain. Second, you use proof points from today to show that it's already starting to happen. And third, you have to learn how to be both incredibly bold and incredibly specific at the same time. Step 1 is absolutely critical. Do not start your pitch up in the clouds. You have to start with the pain. Your vision has to be tied to a real, frustrating problem that people are experiencing right now. When you clearly articulate what's broken, your vision stops sounding like a nice dream and starts sounding like the necessary, obvious solution. Okay, step 2 is all about connecting the dots for them. You have to look for the small signals, the little breadcrumbs that prove your big vision is already taking root. Is one of your users hacking your tool to use it for something you never even thought of? Are you getting weirdly specific inbound requests? Point to those moments. They're the first signs of a much, much bigger shift. And step 3 is where this all comes together. You've got to be specific. Look at the vague vision on the left. We want to change how the world works. It sounds nice, but it means absolutely nothing. It's a platitude. Now look at this specific vision. We want every industrial robot to self-optimize in real time using our software. Wow, that is a sharp, strategic ambition an investor can actually see, understand, and get behind. All right, so your vision is grounded and it's specific. Now we're going to kick it up a notch. We're going to make it feel inevitable. This is where you frame your company not as something pushing against the current, but as something the world is already rushing towards. So you point to the huge macro trends that are basically a tailwind for your idea. Are there new regulations creating a massive opening? Are new AI models suddenly making your solution possible for the very first time? You need to show that this giant wave is already building, and you're just the one who saw it first. And it's not just about market forces. It's also about social proof. Look, at this stage, you don't need 1 million users. What you need is a small, core group of really smart, passionate believers. When you can point to top engineers who took a pay cut to join or key advisors who are bending over backwards to help you, it makes your vision feel less like a gamble and more like a movement that's already started. Okay, but here's the big trap, right? You can't just be the vision guy or vision gal with your head in the clouds. That's a huge red flag. You have to connect that grand, long term dream directly to the nitty gritty work you are doing today. You're not just a dreamer, you're a builder. The best founders I've ever seen are masters at this. They have this incredible ability to toggle their perspective. In one breath, they zoom way out and paint this huge, inspiring picture of the destination. And then, in the very next breath, they zoom right back in and show you the immediate next step on the path. That coherence is what builds real confidence.
And a simple timeline like this is the perfect way to tell that story. You start with today, our product is the wedge. It solves one specific problem for a specific group of users, and it does it better than anyone else. Next, that wedge allows us to unlock scale and expand into new markets. And then the future, we become the new norm. We become the default way an entire industry operates.
And please remember this, you're not just pitching investors. A clear, compelling vision is your single most important recruiting tool for building an amazing early team. The best people out there, they don't join for a paycheck. They join for a mission. And your vision, that is the mission. Ultimately, this all comes down to you. It's not about pretending or putting on a show. It's about you, as the founder, owning your vision with such deep clarity that your conviction becomes contagious. When you see it so clearly in your own mind, others can't help but start to see it too. So as you're working on your pitch, just remember this one thing. Don't hide behind jargon or try to sound smart. The goal isn't to impress anyone with how complex your idea is. The goal is to convince them with how clear it is. Because at the end of the day, clarity is what actually builds confidence. And that leaves us with one final question for you to really think about. Take a hard look at your own pitch. It's easy to create something that sounds inspiring. But have you done the hard work to make it feel grounded, specific, inevitable, and truly investable? Because the answer to that question can make all the difference.